world what? I'ma need a spaceship. Got hands like the Matrix. You gon' need a facelift. Pounding that drink, boy, I can't even taste it. Yeah, I'm going hard. Best believe I'm gon' make it.
What it is, what it do, what it look like. It's your boy JB about to wake your game up. Wake it up, wake it up, wake it on up. What's up, gang? With some game? Everything else looks strange. And we don't do the lame, so get up, use your brain, then wake up and do your thing. Just like that. Y'all come up in here, man, do all the stuff. It's just we about to, get right to it, man. Chop it up a little bit about the Rainwater interview. A lot of stuff sounds sketchy. And we're going to just talk about it more, why the rappers being unalive, would make more money. And, all the little things. And most of the time, it is set up. It is a play. It's, conspiracy theories, whatever you want to call it, man. I believe it go down like that. But, Rainwater, he was saying a lot of stuff that made sense. But for MO3 to be, and RIP to MO3, man, one of my favorite rappers from Texas, out the new cats, the best that did it besides, I think, Scarface. And, I used to rock with Devin the Dude, too. Like them, my favorite Texas rappers, man. But the boy was bad. Sing, rap, do all the stuff, man. They say he was really with the activity. But Rainwater didn't seem too good of a friend, too much like he had his back, or he was like, well, I ain't really sad or worried, that's what they get for playing gangster, pretty much. And he seemed like he really wasn't on no side of the beef or what happened or whatever, but it do seem like he might have had something to do or knew how it was gonna play out. Not to say he moved anything out the vehicle or he set it up, but just the way it went down, it looked like it had a few people. You know what I'm saying? I would guess more than just the two dudes, the freeway. And boy, the nigga came out there with that AR. Like, that boy was gone. MO3 wasn't finna, finna get through that one, man. He was moving kind of slow, seen the video. But I definitely think it was a setup. And I think he had something to do about it. Rainwater kept talking about how he a square, but in the same breath, he talk about how he been through it all in the streets and, with the activity a little bit. But he playing the role like, yeah, I'm a square and I ain't with that, But he did say some real stuff in there, but he seemed kind of, suspect, snakish, or maybe not even that. Maybe just about his bread. And that was his employee. That's somebody who was getting his bread, and it was just business, and nothing major. But I don't know. I'm not gonna say that's what it is. But he seemed like for anybody to be like, man, so how you feel? And was you sad when he? Well, yeah, but that's what you call on. Which I understand what he's saying. You play that role and act like it's somebody gonna, you gotta live by it, even if it's not you. And he was pretty much saying a lot of them cats ain't really like that, but they can't be like, well, time out, I don't want to be like that no more. I just, made a couple thousands, a couple stacks off of, 50 grand off of this track, but I'm not really like that. So I got what he was saying, but it sure is crazy. And the other rappers, I don't believe that was the best, but for the generation, like the Triple X and it's certain rappers that lost their life that was like, they figured out with Tupac and Biggie, that's the biggest thing after they passed. They was big before, but then bow, they bigger. And we all know as people that listen to music, even people that write or try to do music, your first stuff be your best stuff. They killing it. First couple albums. You don't get too many rappers like a E40 or, a rapper that just come out with albums that keep coming up with tight stuff. It's a lot of rappers, they first two albums is banging, and then after that, it's like, oh, man, he fell off, Because they not as hungry. They ain't trying to prove their point as much. They already did their stuff. So these record labels, I think, realize it's too much money. Even if they good, they gonna make us so much more when they gone. And they ain't gonna come out with nothing better than these songs, you know what I mean? And I think that's what it was for the majority of the rappers. Dolph, I wasn't really on his music, but I'm sure he blown up after he passed. Just all of them. Empire, it seemed like almost all they rappers end up getting knocked down. So I think it is something to that. You know what I'm saying? To where, hey, we gonna do this, we gonna play this play, but you're worth too much money. You're worth way more money. Not here. And people keep playing your music, and when they think about you, or you know what I'm saying. And one thing Rainwater said that was interesting, but I could believe it. Was in three music was going up as he passed, and he's the people that they trying to get for the indictment, the Yellow BG and all them and whoever else didn't like him in Texas. He's still passing them in numbers as he passed. But that's how I usually go. We didn't heard of rappers that you never heard of until they pass, and then you go look, who's this? Just being curious. Oh, that's wild. You heard about how he went out, but yeah, I think it's a bigger plan, a bigger play in these labels and the industry, and it just works out like that. The dude who got and they said he was good. You know what I'm saying? But I never heard of him. The dude that got knocked down and his daughter lost her life. Sad situation. I've never heard of him. You know what I'm saying? Until that happened, and then people gonna check out the music. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. How y'all think? Is it just the way they live it? Is the stuff they putting out? Or did some of these rappers signing that contract got dated times and maybe know that it's gonna happen or something's gonna happen bad with a family member or they self or however, and just sign that dotted line in blood, or just how it just ends up because it's just and I can understand, you can understand too that it'd be the best ones or the good ones or the ones that people would be jealous of because they got really talented. Like, man, this nigga, he can do it all. And that's that, like basketball, that competition. He ain't good as me in hoop, and that's how, and it just go out of hand. But yeah, I just was watching the Rainwater because I ain't never really checked him out too much. I heard he was the manager, but didn't know too much about dude. And he's, like I said, he said some good stuff on his little interview. But the main thing was that I got out of it, and I think a lot of people probably seen it, is he seemed, he bought his bread, his family, but he seemed kind of untrustworthy, you know what I'm saying? And don't know MO3, but just off his music, he said, everybody ain't your friend, everybody ain't your partner. If I say I got, when it fucked up, did it fucked up? That track, that's what I heard. That's as soon as I played and he was in it about 5-10 minutes. Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your partner. You know what I'm saying? He seemed like a big dude with a big heart and was solid with his, with his circle and kept it thorough. But the snakes and the real scandalous dudes, they play off that. You feel me? And not saying dude is, I don't know. I just got that vibe a little bit because he was pushing it like, yeah, they want to be gangsters. They ain't really, like he kind of with the stuff, but then he kept saying, I'm a square, and to me, he kept pushing that out there, but you can read between the lines as he was really saying, yeah, y'all keep thinking this shit sweet, but, I'm really, been through it all, and I'm still here standing tall, getting my bread, and I touched this situation because nobody else in Texas wanted to do it because they didn't want this to happen over here. They were scared pretty much, but I'm not scared. But then I'm a square, which, ain't nothing wrong with being a square. It depends what your definition is. Because he did change the definition, or, he said that's sucker shit. I'm a square, but I ain't no sucker shit. So, and he looked kind of stressed. But the way this internet going in, a lot of people talking so much, and it seemed to me they really think they can talk themselves out the bullshit. I'm like, nah, they got you. They got you. And you could try to talk it, because, all criminals and felons and all, they smooth talking individuals think they could talk their way out. But, it seemed like they talking themselves more into a more situation, Seen Wack talking today, and it seemed like, okay, yeah, I was doing a lot of stuff with this dude, But I wasn't there for that. And he was doing it, you know, and they trying to seem like they trying to talk their way out, Brick Baby talk their way out. I don't know it, but if this happened and it's to the regular person, like, damn, why you talking about that? Did they pick that one up, or you know something we don't, or but I don't know if it's just pure ignorance or it's they know what they doing. They you know, but they can't talk their way out of it. If you burn if it's over, it's over. And it seems like sometimes people talking trying to give the internet and everybody change their mind of what they feel. I hear some, oh, they say I'm a snitch, so let me have the homie tell him I never snitch. Now, nigga, you know what this man gonna do? Like you didn't went jail with him for murders and burners, and but you know it is what it is, maybe. But anyway, that's my little little minute. Ain't gonna keep y'all too long, but yeah, I just wanted to touch that because I was like, man, it's kind of messed up how it seemed like you know all our best artists, most talented, the better, and they died, you know what I'm saying? They go young. And it's like, man, what could they do? They could have been so much better. Ooh. But as we see the ones that's been doing it, the Snoop Dogg's, and like I said, E40 is the exception for the rule to me. But other rappers that's been, they was hot back in the day. And then after a while, it's kind of still sounding the same, or they trying to rap about that they luxuries like that. Just not the same hungry artists, and they not putting out the type of music they was. So if I'm if I'm in the entertainment and I've got these things and I'm making money off these cats, it might be some hits, it might be some sending some stuff, and then get shit out the way and wash it up so it can't get back. And it just seemed crazy, but it's something behind that to where, Triple X's generation, they thought he was a Pac. He was a cold man. Just so many rappers. I can't even name them all, but MO3 definitely was one of them. Nipsey Hussle, another one that was on another level hard. But Nipsey had kind of mixtapes but could he come out anything better than he came out with? We all would think so. Like, yeah, he about to. But usually it's that first album, the first couple mixtapes, and then it's exception to the rule on a few. But anyway, man, that's my time. I'm gonna get with y'all on another one. You know what I'm saying? Not like the other one. But yeah, y'all holla at your boy. Talks back. Yay, yay.